Millions of Africans being sacrificed on the altar of green energy. The Daily Signal reports, and this is a Dateline November 17th, 2020. Greg Wrightstone, who I follow on LinkedIn, and you should follow him as well. Let's see, tell us old Greg's bio here. Meet the client scientists the social media censors don't want you to know about. Yep. All right, so we got, he's a member of the CO2 Coalition, a geologist, and author of Inconvenient Facts, the science that Al Gore does not want you to know about. All right, big fan. Obama-era policies that favor so-called green energy over coal-fired electricity are dooming millions of Africans to the lives of extreme poverty, environmental degradation, and increased risk of early death, according to a new analysis by the CO2 Coalition. The study by the Arlington, Virginia-based coalition of 60 climate scientists and energy engineers contends that the inadequate access to electricity is one of the key reasons for Africa's grinding poverty. Yep. Economic growth is in a competitive global market requires reliable, universal electrification. Without sufficient electricity for heating and cooking, Africans are exposed to high levels of indoor pollution from dirty fuels, the world's greatest environmental health risk. Dirty fuels, the world's greatest environmental health risk, according to the World Health Organization. Using heating, firewood and cow dung for heating your home, it forces you in cooking your food to breathe that crap in, which is horrific. People die all the time, children, by the way, from pollution. Globally, the World Health estimates that 3 billion people still cook and heat and illuminate their homes with solid fuels, wood, charcoal, and dried animal dung. The poisons and particulate matter from burning solid fuels kills almost 4 million people a year for pneumonia, heart disease, pulmonary disease, stroke, lung cancer, and a variety of impaired immunities. Half of pneumonia deaths in children under the age of 5 are from soot in the house. You hear that, my freaking green energy friends? 3 billion people still cook and heat to illuminate their homes with solid fuels, wood, charcoal, and dried animal dung. These poisons and particulate matter from burning those fuels kill almost 4 million people a year. Half of pneumonia deaths in children under the age 5 are from soot in the house, from burning this kind of stuff right there. Firewood, animal dung, and coal to heat their house, illuminate their house, and cook their food. UNICEF estimates that the African share of those 4 million untimely deaths is about 400,000. So that seems low actually. So the rest must come from India, China, Southeast Asia. Dangerous levels of indoor air pollution are almost guaranteed for families without access to electricity. They also report that 352 million African children live in homes with solid fuel cooking. Millions of women and children continue to walk many miles a day to gather not just water, but also wood for indoor burning, adding to deforestation. The illnesses, deaths, and misery that are the result of energy poverty in Africa are improving only slowly when compared to the rest of the world. In 1960, those living in China and sub-Saharan Africa had nearly equal life expectancy of 44 years. Today, China is at 77, which is only slightly less than the U.S. Regrettably, the African average is 61, better than it was 60 years ago, but lagging much behind the rest of the world, far behind, I would say. According to new research, that means 1 billion sub-Saharan Africans have a combined loss of 16 billion years of life compared to the Chinese. Almost by design. The Margaret Sanger crowd would love that because they say, hey! We want eugenics. Extreme generational poverty in sub-Saharan Africa is endemic, with 41% of the population in absolute poverty, defined by the World Bank, of having an income of less than $1.40 a day. The lack of access to reliable electricity is one of the primary reasons for this lack of economic growth. Even in electrified areas of Africa, access is not reliable since the grid is often down, sometimes on a daily basis. It reminds me of Venezuela and California, to be perfectly honest with you. That has led to a dieselization of the continent in recent decades. Soot-spewing diesel fuel backup generators are in place for homes of the wealthy factories and government buildings. The reliance on this dirty source of power is so great that it's estimated that many African nations spend more on diesel generation than on electricity itself. Is the answer to this energy poverty a complete reliance on wind and solar power? No, as the unreliability of renewables would mean even more blackouts and brownouts, leading to even more dieselization. The solution for providing dependable, affordable electricity may lie beneath the Africans' feet in the form of cheap, abundant coal reserves that can be used developing American clean coal technology to convert coal to electricity, to convert natural gas to electricity. Crazy. South Africa controls nearly 70% of the continent's reserves, but substantial coal deposits are found in East Africa and the Sahel of West Africa as well. More than 100 new coal-fired plants are on the drawing board in 11 African nations. Almost half are being financed and built by China. That's going to be some serious issues there culturally. I'm telling you, it already is right now with the Chinese basically colonizing Africa. Yeah. More than 100 new coal-fired plants are on the drawing board in 11 African nations, and almost half of those are being financed and built by China. In spite of Africa's deadly health crisis, the World Bank now bars lending to maintain or build new coal-fired plants. Instead, it's lending to countries to assist them in closing mines or replacing with existing power plants with renewables. According to the African Development Bank's president, coal is the past, renewable energy is the future, as Bill Gates pays him to say that. It's a bribe, man. No matter, the president should consider rolling back the restrictions on African energy development to improve the lives of our millions of African brothers and sisters. Could not agree more. Structural racism right there. Love your comments. That's freaking evil, man. And look, these guys are doing it deliberately. I mean, come on. They've been talking about the mouthist Paul Elric, the modern day Michael Mann. So it's all the same. We have too many people. But not my people. Not this right here. It's those people. Third world, black and brown people in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. It's freaking disgusting. All right, we'll see you.